Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm really excited to bring you today's video. If you enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's get started. Despite the harsh winter weather, the sun shone over the mountains in northern Norway. Anna Bagenholm, an experienced skier, familiar with nature, took a deep breath of the crisp mountain air. The day was cold but perfect for skiing. The fresh layer of snow created an ideal track, and Anna was eager to enjoy the slopes with her friends. Everything seemed perfect that morning. Normally a bold yet cautious skier, Anna had always felt a strong connection with nature. As she glided down the slopes, she embraced the tranquility of skiing, believing that nothing could go wrong that day. But the excitement of the descent caused a brief lapse in her focus. In a fleeting moment of distraction, she lost control at the end of a steep slope. Her body lurched, throwing her off balance. She crashed onto the snow-covered rocky ground, her skis detaching instantly. At first it seemed like an ordinary fall. Stunned but determined, Anna quickly tried to get up. However, something felt different. Her ankle was twisted, and a wave of dizziness hit her. She attempted to regain her balance, but in the blink of an eye, everything changed. A small slip sent her feet skidding uncontrollably, plunging her into an icy stream. Within seconds, she was pulled beneath the surface, and suddenly, everything felt eerily strange. The freezing water engulfed her, penetrating every inch of her body. Her heartbeat quickened, and her body temperature plummeted. It wasn't just the cold that overwhelmed her, it was the sheer force of the glacial current that left her disoriented and breathless. In an instant, she felt herself slipping into a dark void. In the deep silence under the ice, time seemed to stop. Everything around her blurred into darkness. A crushing wave of fear took hold. What had seemed like a simple skiing accident had transformed into a terrifying nightmare. She realized she was trapped in a place with no way out. There was no sound except for the muffled crackling of the ice and the dull roar of the frigid water. The shock of the cold paralyzed her, and her body rapidly began to freeze. One thought dominated her mind: survival. Each breath became more difficult, and the darkness pulled her in deeper. Her thoughts became hazy, but a small voice inside her urged her to fight to find a way out. But how? She had no idea what to do or how to escape. Tingling numbness spread through her limbs, as if every ounce of warmth was being drained away. The freezing water sapped her energy, erasing her strength minute by minute. Within seconds, her body had begun to succumb to the cold, and there was no more time to waste. At that moment, Anna became acutely aware of how fragile the line between life and death truly was. What had started as a simple fall had turned into a deadly ordeal. Her fight for survival had only just begun. She felt herself being pulled deeper into the darkness. She tried to open her eyes, but her surroundings blurred into an indistinct void. The cold gripped her tighter, making even breathing a challenge. At first, the icy water sent a shock through her system, but soon, the freezing sensation grew stronger, spreading through every cell in her body like tiny ice crystals forming. Inside her, her lungs filled with water, and every attempt to breathe made the suffocating sensation worse. Her mind was consumed by darkness and cold. Under the ice, she felt weightless, her body immobilized. The frigid current wrapped around her like a vice. Her muscles stiffened, turning to stone. She had no plan, no escape, only the encroaching blackness. Her thoughts, like her body, were slowly freezing. A brief moment of panic sent her heart racing, but then, even that faded. Her mind began to quiet. Thinking, resisting, fighting it all became less possible. Somewhere deep inside, she knew death was near, yet illogically, her survival instinct still clung on. A voice within her whispered, "Don't give up, you still have a chance." But, with each passing second, that voice grew weaker. The concept of time had vanished beneath the ice. It felt as though everything would last forever. At that moment, Anna thought that nothing remained in the world: no sound, no movement, no sign of life. The darkness under the ice expanded like a vast abyss, surrounding her completely. Her chest felt as if it were fused with her frozen body, yet she had no strength to move. Every passing second could be her last. While the freezing water numbed every cell in her body, her mind drifted into a strange fog, and her survival instincts slowly faded. She could only feel what was happening to her body, but she had no control over it. There was nothing but darkness and an increasing sense of emptiness. Her body grew heavier with each passing minute, as if she were suspended in place. Amidst the mix of emotions, the thought of survival seemed like a distant memory. For a brief moment, her mind rejected the cold, silent, terrifying reality around her. Her brain screamed at her, "Survive, stay alive." But how much longer could she endure? One by one, her thoughts slipped away, leaving her trapped on the brink of existence. Whether it was luck or time, maybe both, had already run out for Anna. Then, a deep void filled her mind. Her thoughts stopped. Time slowed. The darkness beneath the ice felt almost tangible, pressing down on her like a weight. She could no longer even sense time passing. Somewhere in her mind, a faint voice whispered about survival. But like everything else, it too was freezing. Anna had perhaps accepted that she might not make it out alive. Yet, something remained hope, and that hope might be the only thing that could pull her from beneath the ice. When Anna's disappearance was noticed, her friends initially believed it was just a minor skiing accident. They had seen her only seconds before she vanished, and as they rushed to find her, panic quickly set in. She had fallen, but no one imagined she was trapped beneath a frozen river. It was hard to believe that a simple slip had turned into a life-threatening situation. As they searched for any trace of her, their worry intensified. One of the skiers carefully examined the snow-covered terrain and spotted the spot where Anna had slipped. A sudden fear gripped him. Anna was missing, and they had only one chance to find her. The same thought struck everyone's mind at once. The dark, icy water might have swallowed her, but was there still a glimmer of hope? Once they realized she was truly gone, they had no choice but to call for rescue teams. At that point, everything became more serious. Time was the only factor that mattered, and as the minutes and hours passed, Anna's chances of survival diminished rapidly. The moment the rescue team received the call, they sprang into action. A professional team was dispatched from Tromsk, far from the remote mountains where Anna had disappeared. But time was against them. The team had to navigate treacherous, ice-covered terrain, requiring exceptional coordination and speed. Upon arrival, the rescuers wasted no time. They meticulously scanned the area for any sign of impact on the ice or rocks. But this situation was unlike any other search and rescue mission. Finding a person trapped beneath the ice was nearly impossible. However, the entire team knew critical every second was. The longer time passed, the more frozen Anna's body became, and the slimmer her survival chances grew. The river's water was near freezing, and if she had been submerged for too long, survival would be beyond impossible. Moving forward meant navigating a labyrinth of ice and water, facing countless obstacles that made the mission even more difficult. With each passing moment, hope seemed to fade. While Anna remained alone in the cold and darkness, the rescue team battled against both the freezing conditions and the odds, searching for even the faintest sign of life. Every second carried the weight of hope, but in Anna's frozen mind, time had lost all meaning. The cold had settled over everything like a crushing force. Deep beneath the ice, was there still a light? Only on and on, those trying to save her could find out. At that moment, everyone had only one thought. Every second could make a difference in saving Anna's life. Anna was trapped in a world where time had disappeared. Lost in the cold, dark water. Her body had begun to freeze under the ice. Moving was nearly impossible. Every muscle, every bone felt heavier, as if they were turning to stone. Hours passed, entwined with the numbing cold, wrapping her mind in emptiness. But one thing remained, the instinct to survive. Even though her mind was clouded, an inner strength began to make itself known. In the deep silence beneath the ice, instead of feeling powerless, the will to survive grew stronger. Her mind had drifted far from everything she once knew, but the moment she accepted the pain and the cold in her body, a voice inside her whispered, "Survive, stay alive." Her brain, fighting against her frozen body, struggled to grasp the passage of time. Every thought, every memory blurred and faded. But one truth remained clear: this battle was not just physical, it was entirely psychological. While her body slowly succumbed to paralysis from the cold, her mind refused to give up. Anna was physically drained, but mentally she was still fighting against the darkness and the freezing abyss. That the survival instinct echoed in every frozen corner of her being. But as she delved deeper into her mind, she realized that this instinct was not just a reflex for staying alive, it was also a desperate attempt at resistance. No matter how hopeless the situation seemed, a voice in her head kept reminding her, "Life goes on, there's still a chance, you can do this." For a brief moment, these thoughts brought her a sense of comfort, yet every cell in her body continued to dance with death. No matter how much she tried to move, everything felt slow and heavy, as if her muscles had rusted over. The cold had frozen her limbs, and with each passing second, her body became even heavier. But a moment of awareness opened a door in her struggle against the cold. At that instant, a part of her brain accepted the fight for survival. Yet, the hardest part of this battle was not just the physical struggle, but the mental one. Dealing with the gradual erasure of her consciousness, minute by minute, made her feel as though she was slipping away. The cold drained her physically, but she also realized she was on the verge of losing control over her own mind. And yet, in that slow, uncertain passage of time, a feeling began to grow within her, a voice that repeated, "Survive." In the stillness where everything seemed to have stopped, the survival instinct emerged from the darkest corners of her mind. Like a faint light, with every second beneath the ice, Anna realized that every movement, every breath, was a miracle. While part of her mind was shutting down, another part fought to grasp onto the simplest thoughts of existence. Pain, cold, darkness, these were only temporary. But before she could give up, she had to try one last time. This battle in her mind was more than just an instinct to survive. In a way, it was a fight against her own body, a final test of the resilience of the human spirit. Anna's body had reached a point of no return. Yet her mind searched for a last glimmer of light. And then, the moment arrived. As physical exhaustion consumed her, a flicker of hope appeared. Even if her mind could no longer fully comprehend what was happening in the darkness, for a fleeting moment, she realized, I am still here. I still have a chance. This thought shone like a final beacon of hope in the cold, dark world surrounding her. When Anna was finally pulled from beneath the ice, she was barely alive. After hours of relentless effort, the rescue teams had found her. Her eyes were closed, her body frozen solid. She had spent hours submerged in the icy water, every part of her, every organs, fairly frozen. Her body had turned into a block of ice. Her heart had stopped. Her body was numb, and her breathing was nearly non-existent. The rescue team carefully lifted her lifeless body from the water, knowing that every action could mean the difference between life and death. When she was pulled from the ice, her chances of survival were unimaginably slim. The team knew that every second, every decision they made at that moment, would directly impact whether she lived or died. Time was now Anna's greatest enemy. The first priority was to warm her body, but this had to be done with extreme caution. A sudden increase in temperature could cause shock, further damaging her organs instead of reviving them. The team initiated a specialized procedure to gradually warm Anna's body. Warm air had to be applied carefully to different parts of her body. Meanwhile, she had no heartbeat, and her breathing was nearly non-existent. This was a situation where the chances of survival had dropped below 1%. Yet, amidst this grim reality, something scientifically impossible was happening. As the rescue team did everything in their power, they noticed a small change in Anna's body. The frozen parts, seemingly lifeless, were slowly but noticeably warming up. At first, only small areas showed signs of recovery, but gradually, her entire body began to respond. Her heart, like a faint beacon of hope, started beating again. The scientifically accepted limits of human survival were being rewritten. Their very eyes. Time was becoming increasingly critical with each passing moment. As the rescue team witnessed the shocking revival of Anna's body, they knew that every second mattered. They worked with the utmost precision, hoping that their efforts would lead to a miracle. When her heartbeat returned, for the first time, hope spread among the team. A body that had been completely frozen just moments ago was now showing signs of life. The team exchanged glances, realizing just how extraordinary this event truly was. Her chances had been incredibly slim, yet Anna's body was defying all expectations, fighting its way back to life. Before witnessing it firsthand, no one could have imagined such a recovery. Many scientific theories deemed this kind of revival impossible, yet Anna's body was resisting those theories. Every cell, every organ, was functioning with an instinct to survive, slowly regaining its abilities. However, each moment remained a race against time. When Anna was pulled from the freezing water, she had barely escaped death's grip. But survival required everything to be done correctly. The team proceeded carefully, knowing just how crucial each step was. At that moment, survival was only a possibility, but even the smallest possibility could give birth to miracles. After being rescued from beneath the ice, Anna's case turned into a medical phenomenon. Her body had been completely frozen, her heartbeat had stopped, and her breathing had nearly ceased. Doctors had already accepted that she was clinically dead. Medically speaking, it was nearly impossible for a human to survive after being exposed to such extreme cold for so long. Yet, against all odds, Anna clung to life. Initially, doctors believed she had no chance of survival. But within a few days, something unexpected began to happen. Slowly, day by day, her heart started beating again, and a recovery process began. Every minute, every hour, a new glimmer of hope emerged. Her organs, once frozen and lifeless, started functioning again. This was beyond the boundaries of any accepted medical understanding. She was alive, and she was fighting to stay that way. In the intensive care unit, doctors continued to work tirelessly to aid her recovery. Though her body was still partially frozen, she was somehow surviving. Week after week, the signs of healing became more evident. Anna was being reborn each day. In her battle to reclaim her life, physically, her frozen tissues were slowly regenerating, her muscles and organs regaining function. The doctors knew this was an extraordinary process, a turning point in medical history. Beyond the physical recovery, Anna had to endure an immense psychological struggle. Rebuilding both her body and mind was a journey in itself. The process of restoring movement to her muscles and nerves posed a significant challenge. But mentally, she was also undergoing a profound rebirth. Her fighting spirit grew stronger with each passing day. Her eyes, once trapped in a frozen and lifeless body, now carried the determined gaze of a survivor. Anna's survival was not just a personal victory, it was a groundbreaking event for the medical world. Her case became an inspiration, proving that sometimes the impossible could become reality. Until then, survival in cases of extreme freezing was considered impossible. However, Anna, a person who had been clinically declared dead, managed to come back to life. This miracle introduced a brand new perspective to the medical world. doctors and scientists realized that a frozen body could unexpectedly return to life. Research on survival processes in hypothermia cases in medicine gained new momentum, inspired by Anna's case, leading to further studies and discoveries. During the weeks she spent in intensive care, every moment felt like a miracle. As her body rapidly recovered, the medical community and people around the world witnessed her incredible fight for survival. She was not just one of the rare individuals to survive such an ordeal. She became a living testament to hope, resilience, and the strength of the human spirit. Anna's struggle was not merely a physical battle for survival, it was also an internal war, a resistance against all odds. She was being reborn both mentally and physically, showing the world just how precious life truly is. Although Anna's return to life from a frozen state seemed like a miracle, her experience revealed the true strength of both the human body and spirit. Despite the immense pain and challenges she endured, her survival did not just grant her physical recovery, it sent a powerful message to the world that hope is one of the strongest forces. And even in the darkest moments, life itself is incredibly valuable. Anna's story did more than just change her own life. It became more than just a survival tale, it became a lesson for all of humanity. There is always hope. Never give up.